Welcome to the daily briefing from interest.co.nz. I'm David Chaston. Today we review how we use our credit cards, look at where the latest term deposit rates are at, update our electricity price series, and we'll wrap up with what the other media are reporting. Yesterday we looked at the growth in credit card balances. Today we want to review how we use our credit cards. We have $18 billion in credit card capacity, that is in credit card limits, but few of us take our cars to the limit. In fact, we only owe a bit less than $5 billion on them. So on average, we use about a quarter of the limits approved for us. Maybe that is because the weighted average interest rate over all cards is 19%. Some of us choose a low interest card with rates as low as 12.9%. Kiwibank and Bank Direct have deals at this level, but low interest cards come with higher fees, so they're only good for people who can't pay their balances in full each month and if balance is over about $500. More of us, however, are paying our balances in full. In fact, there's been a steady improvement in the number of us paying off our balances faster. Now only 2/3 of credit card balances incur interest, whereas 5 years ago it was more than 3/4 of us. The average finance company term deposit rate for a one-year investment has popped up over 9% for the first time in the past week. This benchmark is now at its highest level since we've been monitoring it. 5 years ago it was about 6.8%, so it's come a long way up. But the average premium over bank rates is just not high enough these days, although a number of institutions are making adjustments to remedy this. In the past week, Merrick raised its one-year rate to 9.3%, New Zealand Finance raised to 9.85%, and St Lawrence to 9.6%. Meanwhile, the average offer from banks upped a little as well this week. This was because Kiwibank raised its one-year rate to 8.6%, equaling ANZ and Bank Direct with a best bank offer. It remains important for the health and sustainability of non-bank offerers to maintain a sensible margin over that best bank benchmark to reflect the risk involved. Without it, non-bank institutions could suffer a more lasting flight from their sector. And now for an update of our occasional review of wholesale electricity costs. In the past 3 months, this benchmark cost has trended down steadily. Hydro inflows have been normal to good and demand has been manageable. In fact, there have been few demand or supply stresses on the overall system. Certainly none that required a price signal. We're ending the winter in good shape and with prices about where they were at the same time last year. Although hydro inflows have been modest in the past week and storage levels are falling, inflows for this time of year are pretty normal. These wholesale markers indicate that power pricing should be reducing, at least it should not be increasing. It is worth pointing out, however, that although hydro is the dominant source of our electricity, more than 40% is now provided by other generation methods, and of course much of that other generation is not weather dependent. And finally today, a quick wrap-up of some other recent news. NBR has a story on investment advisor network Vestar, which took over Northplan amongst others, and is currently owned by MFS. This story goes to the heart of who advisors work for, or should work for, and raises some interesting and timely issues. When there is turmoil in the markets, risks rise. You can see a measure of that in our risk premium series. In the latest weekly assessment, this premium has risen to its highest level we have seen since we started this monitoring. Another risk benchmark is the price of gold. Last week this bellwether commodity rose to a record high price, its record ever, more than $730 an ounce. You can get more news and stay up with Newsmaker Views on our news page. Join us again tomorrow for the freshest finance news on the web. We'll see you then.